Let me introduce you to my Honda Firestorm VTR 1000. I had one of these 12, 13 years ago and really enjoyed it, really liked it. So I thought I'd try buying another one, maybe a bit of a doer-upper, fix it up over the winter. When the weather gets better in the spring, then sell it on and make a few quid, hopefully. That was the plan. So I saw this one on eBay. It looked okay. It was a bit rough, but it looked okay. But I got a little bit carried away with the bidding and ended up buying it for £900, which I think was a bit too much. Now, it was advertised as running a bit rough and bogging down a little bit. I just presumed it was a fuel issue, maybe the carburetor. As I said, it's been sitting for quite a while. It had got an MOT on it, but it hadn't done very much miles at all in the last few years. And it's been sitting outside, and the MOT history backs it up with the mileage. That it's just been sitting outside for a long time. The guy, he told me, yeah, you can get it running. You might be able to ride it home, but if you whack open the throttle, it will bog down quite a bit. So anyway, I bid for it and won it. The bike was down in Bristol, which is about 2 hours drive away from me. So one day after work, I was absolutely smothered with a cold, felt awful, felt really rough, but I'd arranged to go and see it, to go and pick it up that day. So off I went. Now the guy I bought it off, he was moving abroad, or he was going overseas for a few months anyway. So he said his mate would be there to hand it over to me and do the necessary paperwork and the money and so on. So when I got down there, found it down. When I got down to Bristol and found where he lived, my first reaction to the bike was, crap. It's not as good as it looked in the pictures. It didn't look great in the pictures, but it looks even worse. Up close, yeah, there's lots of little bits and pieces I'll show you in a moment. It's not great. So then we tried to start it and we couldn't get it started. But like I said, I was feeling so rough. I just couldn't be bothered. Just couldn't be arsed. I just thought I just want to get home. So and this guy was throwing the guy I was getting it from. He was thrown in a bit of the deep end by his mate who'd gone abroad, and just left him with the bike and the keys and said, "Here, there's a bloke come to pick us up this afternoon. Can you get it from?" So I just couldn't be bothered arguing or doing it, so I just stuck it in the back of the van and drove home with it. When I got out of the van then at home, I did fire it up, and it did fire up. And I just stuck it in the shed, and it's been there. That was 3.5, 4 months ago, and I've just pulled it out of the shed now, and this is the first time I've really had a proper look at it. So I'm just making a plan now of plan of attack, really, of what to do, what to fix in it. I've got a carb fixing kit, a carb rebuild kit, with new seals and jets and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to be doing that. But I think before I do that, what I'm going to do is take all the bodywork off, just completely strip it down, give it a really good clean. There's 20 million spiders living in here. There's cobwebs everywhere. Well, I've brushed most of the cobwebs off, but there's still a lot of spiders in here. So I'm going to give it a good clean down. I'm probably sure I'll find a couple of spiders' nests. Might even find the air filter boxes full of cobwebs and spiders, and that could be half the problem as well. So let's have a close-up look. Right, well, one thing that definitely needs sorting, you see, look at all this little surface rust and everything. The pads look knackered. Discs are okay. Pads might be okay as well. It might just be a bit of surface rust up there. Tyres are all good. They're new tyres, which you got for the MOT. I think the MOT was last May, and it's now March. So yeah, it's coming on. The MOT will be nearly out then. Yeah, all those fasteners and bolts and everything, they're all knackered. I'm not sure how well the engine casings there will clean up. I don't know. The subframe has got a lot of surface rust. Shock. I'm not really sure how good or bad that is. Just lots of bolts like that, for example, are all just looking worse for wear. What's the sprockets like? Chain and sprockets are okay. A little dent there, which is annoying. Back calipers will need a good seeing to as well. Yeah, if anyone's got any suggestions how I can clean, I don't think I will clean up that. I'm not sure what the best way of doing that is. I might be able to get new cheap covers, maybe from eBay or something, possibly. I don't know. Yeah, it was originally yellow, and he resprayed. I think this paint is. I think he said it was from. It's an Alfa Romeo colour, an Alfa Romeo blue. It's not the best paint job. There's a few. I can't find it now. There's a few little parts of it where I saw there's a couple of little paint. Can you see there where my finger is? There's a couple of little bits of that where there's a bit of a paint run. If I lift, we look under there. Look at the mess of that. That's just all loose grit crap in there. So there's probably a lot of that in the bottom of the tank as well, which gets sucked through into the fuel system. Yeah, and then in here, see all those bolts, all those fasteners are all pretty rubbish. See if we can fire her up. Choke down there. No, nothing happening there. I'm not going to try too much until I get all that petrol out of it anyway and clean up the carbs. These are a cool looking bike though, aren't they? I do love these. I do think they look great. In a 90s sort of way. So I've started stripping down the brake calipers. I'll just show you, this is sort of what I'm working with. A little bit neglected to say the least. The pads are a bit of life left, quite a bit of life left in them actually, just like everything else, everything's sort of quite rusty and seized up, so I think these all need a good sanding and a good cleaning down. It's a bit of a job getting the bolts out from these. They were all rusted and solid. One thing I hadn't come across before was, so for the retaining pin that holds the retaining pin there that holds the pads in, I didn't realise. So there's this little screw goes on in front of that. So I managed to. This was stuck in solid, so I managed to get this. Out, and that was still in there, all grubby and dirty. And I thought, ah, shit! I've broken the pin. So yeah, I took my toys out of the pram before I realised, oh, hang on, that's only just a cover, and then that comes out separately. So yeah, I've never come across that one before. I'm sure people in the comments would say, oh, that's really common. I've never seen it before. Anyway, that's where I'm at the moment. If anyone has any good suggestions for cleaning these, please let me know. Apart from, I don't really want to take all the caliper apart. I might have to though. Yeah, if anyone knows any good methods of cleaning the rust off these, please let me know in the comments. So with this sort of project, the problem you start to run into then is how far do you actually go? Like, I mean, this is still going to be a cheap bike when I'm finished with it. In all honesty, I think probably maximum, even if I fix it up and it was absolute great condition and cleaned everything up really well, I'm probably still looking at maybe 1,600 quid tops. I don't think I'll get near that. I think probably more, maybe 1,400. Yeah, so do I want to spend lots and lots of time on it, or do I just get it into a running position? So for example, the insides of the calipers here, now I'd like to get all them nice and clean and sparkly, but like I said, how far do I go? I don't think I'm going to, actually. I think I've answered my own question there. There's no point really, because I could spend hours, days working on this, cleaning it up really nice, and I'm never going to get that time or money back. So if I was keeping it for myself, it might be worth doing it, but I'm just doing it to sell it on, and whoever buys it off me is going to be just looking for a cheap bike anyway, because like I said, it's only going to be 13, 14, 1,500 quid's worth, so it's probably not worth my time spending all this. So all I'm going to do is just get everything in a reasonable condition, in a reasonable working condition. Like I've given the pistons inside, giving them a good clean, so they're going in and out okay. As for the rest of it, I think for all this in there, I think that's just going to have to stay as it is really. The bolts, these bolts, things like that, I might just get a bit of tin foil and water. That sort of might clean them up a bit. But again, how much time do you spend on it, and you have to look at diminishing returns really, don't you? Anyway, I'm going to get the brakes cleaned off now, and that'll be it for this video. And then next, what I'm going to do then is just strip off all the bodywork and just see where I am then really, and get the carbs off and so on. So I'll see you then.